Hey, and welcome to a Minecraft Let's Play video. A video, guess where? Inside of Stampy's love.
It's like a rapist club. There is.
There is. It's called jail.
Going at the same.
And we've got a bot who's going to go through all of these commands live. Gentlemen, if you are part of the lucky few who will remain after this purge,
Hi, my name's Dip. Do you ever see a meme that says something like, "I'm so glad I grew up with this and not this"? Well, as a 2000s child who was in fact born into 2000s, I am inclined to agree. However, maybe, for peak accuracy, you could replace this with this. You see what I'm getting at here? Whenever I see a meme like this, it always makes me think about whether or not it'll be significant in the future. And I know that's really strange, because most memes you'll look at and go, wow, that's funny. Funny skeleton appears, haha, silly cat. None of that is going to be significant. But when I'm in my later years, you know, when I'm a functioning legal adult, I have a driver's license, I'm worrying about taxes, I am worrying about student loans, I have a 9-to-5 job, and somehow still don't have a girlfriend. Jesus Christ, I'm lonely. Will I be thinking about that meme? Probably not. But I do imagine that at some point in my life, I am going to think back to the topic this meme raises. Here's a scary thought. Being the 2000s kid I am, when I'm in my later years, I'm going to think back to SMP Live and go, wow, those were the good old days. Maybe for the kids that are a bit younger than me, will think back to Dream SMP and think it's nostalgic. Oh yes, the good old days, and my favorite content creator called me a kitten. Now, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, none of this fucking matters. All of us Gen Zs, 2000s and 2010s kids are going to get old, decrepit, and into our 80s be thinking, wow, you remember Minecraft? That shit's nostalgic, man. But ultimately, even if these memes are out of hate for the later content creators, these still bring up an interesting topic that is worthy of thought. You can throw out all of these words like influencer and content creator and celebrity, but generally it's all sort of just part of the modern internet. What kind of kids is the modern internet raising? What am I going to become? What are they going to become? Why am I gay? Wait a minute, that wasn't part of a script? What the fuck? Everything I say in this video should be taken with a fucking massive grain of salt, as I have no clue what I'm talking about, and am generally relying on personal feelings and opinions to form what is being said. Now, don't worry, I'm not on some conspiracy theory shit. I'm not saying, like, oh, these modern content creators are ruining this generation. I'm not saying anything like that. If you want my honest take, I think most of us are just gonna grow up to be normal-ass people and forget we ever interacted with this cringe anyway. But, with that being said, I think saying it doesn't have an effect is idiotic. If you clicked on this video for the thumbnail, then you are probably familiar with jschlatt. If not, the basic gist is that he's a YouTuber who's done a variety of things over his past many channels, and I've been a fan of him for a while. Most of you will probably remember him from the aforementioned Minecraft SMPs. Currently, he's doing this TikTok reaction stuff, which isn't really my forte, but I understand it's what gets him views. It's sort of part of the job. And don't get me wrong, the majority of his content does have some moments worth remembering.
I've spent the last 4 years looking for my ex-girlfriend's killer.
But, as someone who's been a fan of him for a rather long time, I'm going to remember him for other things. His more relaxed and arguably better videos, like a tribute to Minecraft and the stuff that he uploads on the weekly slap. Which of he uploaded a video that ties into the topic this video discusses and was sort of the inspiration for creating it in the first place, along with the Dip channel itself. In this video, he discusses whether or not YouTubers like himself will leave behind a legacy. Whether or not a legacy is something you can really control, but at the baseline, what it means to be remembered and what he is going to be remembered for.
When I used to think about the idea of a legacy, I considered the weekly slap to be the only real thing of mine that had any importance. Because in many ways, this was a way to shape my own legacy. I wanted to create a spiritual successor to the content I loved and grew up on back in the day, and kind of give that to the newer generation of viewers who never would have been able to experience it otherwise. From the get-go, this channel was trying to craft a legacy. But I don't know if that's how legacies work. I don't know if you can control them.
Here, I think that legacies are something that can be controlled. And I think that your ability to control them is based on the influence you have on other people. Another YouTuber that I've been a fan of for a while, slightly more popular, and ironically a YouTuber that he mentions in this video, is Markiplier. I think for how popular he is and, well, for how long his channel's been up, he is very likely to be remembered for quite a few things. I think the best example of this is unus annus. It's only been 2 or 3 years since unus annus has ended. Everyone still knows what it is. If you don't know what unus annus is by this point, then you've missed out, and I'm not going to explain it to you like I ordinarily would, because that's the point. Maybe this wasn't Markiplier's intention with unus annus, but he did leave behind a sort of legacy for this channel. If there's a nostalgic YouTube video you watched a really long time ago and remember, then you can go back and watch it. With unus annus, you can't. Unless, of course, you're a bitch and downloaded all of the videos last second. Like myself. He created something that could only be remembered. And, well, given the premise of the channel and just how fun the videos were, he absolutely left behind a legacy. Even if these two guys had no idea what they were doing, people are still going to remember this, and it still has an effect on the kids who did watch these videos. Let's take a moment to be real for a second. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. Everyone who's a YouTuber sort of started out the same way. Either they just liked making videos, or they were playing video games, or whatever the case is. And on a surface level, that is still what most of these YouTubers are doing. We can bring back all the buzzwords, content creator, celebrity, influencer. They weren't really thinking about that. Nobody who first starts out YouTube should be thinking about their brand, or how they're going to appeal to audiences or numbers. They were all sort of just doing shit that they enjoyed. Most of them didn't even think that any of this article-worthy stuff would be possible. But the smarter, and in my opinion, more mature YouTubers, when they got popular, realized that they actually do have an effect on people. On the surface, yes, it's just a bunch of kids playing video games, but this is what shaped my sense of humor. This has had an impact on me and quite a few other people. These CSGO funny moments videos are horrible, but, and this is gonna be really cringe, I don't think I'd be the same person without them. And this is sort of the point of this video. The effect that YouTubers have on people, or dare I say, the influence that they have, isn't necessarily declining, but it is split. You have the ones that realize what they're doing, realize the impact that they have on people, and sort of adapt to it. They try to give out advice and leave behind legacies and create truly memorable experiences. And then you have the ones who maybe not haven't learned, but definitely don't fully realize the kind of effect and influence that they have. It might be indirect or unintentional, but they still do end up encouraging unhealthy behavior. Another relevant buzzword that's been forcing its way into this mix is parasocial relationship. Another unhealthy behavior that they indirectly encourage. The smart YouTuber, the one that admits where he's wrong, the one that tries to give out good advice without necessarily having it be parasocial. The one that not only takes criticism but builds positively upon such. I think the best out of the bunch are the ones that are popular and know that they are going to have a lasting effect on certain people. So they make the best out of that fact that they can. Their influence, even if unintentional, is effective. But let's refer to the beginning of the video. I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I don't know anything about this topic. But if there's one thing I do know, I'm so glad I grew up with, am growing up with this, and not this.